Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the South Campus show. Thanks to Terry Fogarty, our guest today. We have a number of local artists in our parish, and Terry is one of them. Welcome, Terry.
Thanks, Father. Appreciate the invite to be here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And gosh, Terry, you and Karen have been in the parish how long?
Well, I was trying to figure this out before I came in today, and I think we moved out here in 2003 or 2004.
All right.
And the old church was still the main church. I remember that the first year that we came out, we had celebrated Christmas in the old church. And it was crowded, but it was charming.
Hey, look, we got here another guest. Hey, Arlo, how you doing, man? Good to see you. So, Arlo arrived a little bit tardy. I think he was out looking for squirrels in the backyard, so that's good. But, my time here is kind of divided between historic church and the new church. And it was 9 years in the historic church on weekends, and that got pretty tight. Maybe you experienced that, but so that's a spell. Now, how many kids you got?
So we only have one child, Elizabeth. She graduated high school this year and is in Ames, Iowa now, starting her first year at Iowa State.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice graduation party, by the way.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you could attend.
So, Terry, as an artist, professional artist, tell me a little bit about your work, your subject matter and all that.
Yeah, well, I grew up not being an athlete myself, but admiring sports, going to a lot of games with my father. And I also grew up with an average amount of interest in artwork. So through my grade school days, junior high school, and high school, I dabbled a bit painting and drawing. Got serious about it in high school and decided I was going to go get an art degree for art. And the sports was just a natural subject for me. Back in high school, that was my main subject, was painting sports, football, baseball, basketball, that type of thing. And I graduated from college with an art degree and not much more. I didn't know what I was going to do with that. I had a very kind uncle who took me aside and sort of helped me out with some of the business aspects of, being your own business person, running a small business. He gave me a lot of ideas on where I could sell the work, and so I owe a great deal of gratitude to him. But that was almost over 35 years ago, and so with a little bit of luck and persistence, I've been managed to make it a vocation.
Beautiful, I like that. And by the way, you said average interest in art. It is. Your artwork is not average, it is way above average. It's spectacular.
Well, thank you.
But it's kind of like you discovered you had this gift. Like you didn't know it. At what point did you know, I want to pursue this? And at what point did it become a passion for you?
I think right around my last year in high school, I had, and a lot of it is reinforcement by teachers. Even in going back to grade school, they would compliment you on the work, and something like that goes a long way towards you thinking, well, maybe if I put some time and effort into this, I could get somewhere. I remember my teacher in high school, he was the wrestling coach, and he thought the fact that I was painting all these sports scenes was the greatest. He thought that was wonderful, and so every quarter he'd have me make sure I painted, or drew wrestlers in my sketchbook. And he saw that I had a great interest in this, and encouraged me, and that went a long way towards me pursuing it as more than just a hobby.
Yeah. And I always wondered this, because as a non-artist, I ask this: is it like a sport where you just keep getting better and better at it because of the practice?
Oh, I think so. I always say that. When I look back at my work, there was nothing terribly exceptional about my work in high school. or even early in college. But a lot of that development is really happened when I got out of college, when I had the time to sit down and maybe develop a little more of a realistic technique to my painting. And that is just time. That's just doing it every day over and over and over. I never thought that the work early on was something you'd look at and say, well, that's, he's going to be a professional artist someday.
Yeah, it's kind of the 10,000 hour rule. It's just, you put the miles on, you put the practice in, and you develop that God-given gift, and it keeps. So we're all working on our game.
Yeah, well, anything in the creative business requires a lot of work, and behind the scenes, that's something I don't think people see.
So you mentioned sporting events and subjects, but in particular, I've seen some of your work, and it seemed, I'm going to say, have a fascination with Minnesota winter, pond hockey, that kind of thing.
I very much, I paint, what I grew up with. I don't stray too far from that. And I'm also a real nostalgia fan. I love things that are older, they describe it as Americana type of work, old cars, trains, planes, automobiles, anything from the previous generations. I love to paint, and pond hockey is certainly one of those things in Minnesota. I had a big break in the late 90s when the high school league asked me to contribute artwork for the program covers at the state high school hockey tournament, and that has been going on, well, last year would have been 23 years. They're kind of phasing out the programs in the high school league, so that remains to be seen whether I'll be continuing to do that. But that 23 years of painting hockey scenes has established sort of a reputation for my work from a lot of the fans in the area, Wild fans, Gopher High School, that type of thing. And they appreciated, I guess, the grassroots aspect of it.
You I don't know if you remember this, gave me a piece. It's a pond hockey piece in the winter.
I do remember that, yeah.
And it's very evocative, like it kind of stirs in me some nostalgia, like you're saying, and it's sort of heartwarming, if I can say it.
Yeah, no,
I relate to that somehow.
Yeah.
Like, this is me as a kid, and I would suspect the same in your other art pieces, and that's what it appeals to people almost unconsciously. Like the automobile show on Wednesday nights. It's
right, yeah.
Classic cars. People are drawn to that, and you paint that kind of reality.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I
hear
that a lot from people. That brings them back to when they were growing up, and stirs a lot of emotion in some people, and that's one of the a side benefit of doing a lot of this.
Well, it's like any art form. Music will do the same, and art. Now, this piece, folks, this is I am talking to the Norman Rockwell of Victoria. I hope I say that as a compliment.
No, I loved Rockwell.
This piece. So I saw this. Terry brought it in with his wife Karen and John and his painted the staff, and they kind of surprised me, and I went, "Wow, what a great picture of the historic church. They got the steeple up there in the blue sky, and so cool." And they said, "Look farther down, Father." And I did. Oh my gosh, that's me down there on my bike. How'd you do this?
Well, there's a little bit of stealth photography work that I knew that after weekday masses, especially in the summer, you would take Arlo on a couple rounds around the parking lot. And I don't know where, I must have gone to a weekday mass and saw you do that, and I thought that was so charming, you riding your bike with Arlo, in, around the church, around town for that matter. I thought, I want to do this as a painting. And so I crouched down behind some cars out here.
Terry, you were stalking.
I was stalking you, yes, and was able to capture you with my camera, long enough to get a good clear shot of you and Arlo, and then I came back, took some, did some photography work of the church, and then I kind of fused everything together in a painting.
Got it.
But it turned out exactly as I wanted, and that's all I wanted to do with it, is just do it and give it to you, because
Well, I was very touched by that, and appreciative of it. It's kind of to me, it captures a big part of my ministry here at St. Victoria. It's kind of, that's a symbol of it. Like, me and Arlo, the church, and on my way to my next thing,
Well, this was sort of my way of telling you, I guess, how much you are appreciated here. I think that you touch so many. Liz and I were talking before I sat down about the different generations that you're able to relate to, and that is such a gift to be able to do that. Young kids, teenagers, and the older parishioners that come to Mass, you really have something special.
Well, thank you. It's all God's people, all of us together. And Arlo, we got it.
And Arlo.
Arlo is in there. But people have come up and looked at this, and they say, "Is that a photograph?"
Yeah.
I go, "No, it's a painting." They go, "Oh my gosh, it is a painting." They're surprised. It's that lifelike.
It's a technique, either called super realism or photorealism, whatever realism you want to attach to it. But it's something that's been developed over the years.
Beautiful. Wow. But Terry, anyhow, this is, again, I thank you for this publicly. It means a lot to me, and I love the creativity and the initiative you showed in this. And just as we wrap up here, we're going to do Arlo thinks it's a treat, which is not. We do our out of the magic orange hat.
Okay.
This is the improv question. If you don't like it, throw it at me. I don't care.
It says, what famous person would you like to visit, and how would you like to spend the time together? Oh boy. I'm a big history buff. Winston Churchill, off the top of my head, I think would be fascinating to sit down and talk to him, and a million questions, you could ask someone like that, but historical figures, especially of that generation, the World War II generation, which my dad was a part of, I would love the chance to do that.
Beautiful. I can see you and Winston smoking cigars, sipping brandy, and talking big.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Terry, thank you so much for being part of our show today.
Thank you.
And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you next week, same time, same station. God bless everyone. Thank you.